the truth. Basically threatened, and told the public do not deserve to know the truth. It is absolutely disgraceful. In fact, it has shades of the same mentality at local level that led to Rotherham and the huge shock, not just we as a country, but the international community, who could not believe we'd sunk to those depths. Turning a blind eye, not telling the British public the truth. Well, when it comes to protecting children, we're not hiding behind a flawed piece of legislation. We genuinely intend to protect, in particular, women and children. And I made this point 2 weeks ago, but I'll make it again today. None of these young, unidentified males that are coming into this country should be free to roam the streets. They should be detained ahead of them being deported. And that is absolutely what we stand for as a party, and we mean it. And we'll do that to protect the British people. We have simply had enough. OK, moving on. I have a list of questions. Let us start with Henry Zeffman, BBC.
Thank you very much. Can I just take you back to something you said right at the start? You talking about the government and the Online Safety Act, and you said they claim that protecting children is the sole purpose of the Online Safety Act. So you seem to think there is a real hidden purpose. What is that?
Well, if it was to protect children, why on earth would an elite police force be set up to monitor what people say online about events such as what's occurred in Warwickshire just last week? Why on earth are we seeing the extent to which online material has been censored, including, I was hearing this morning, even historical comments about Richard III? I mean, this is the beginning of state censorship. It is very worrying and very frightening. As for the intended purpose of the Act, a process begun by the Conservative Party, fully understandably, because of suicide kits being available online and all of these terrible things. Yes, of course, the original intention of the Act was honourable and correct in every way, and we would stand behind it. The trouble is that I suspect most 13-year-olds are more tech-savvy than the Science Minister, Peter Kyle, because they simply go to VPNs where they can't just access what's on the web, they can even quite easily find themselves in the even deeper and darker recesses of the dark web. Do we want legislation that protects children? Yes. We're going to have to find a tech solution to it. The government is not there with it. Thank you. Catherine Foster, GB News.
Jess Phillips, the Safeguarding Minister, has doubled down basically on that message from last week and said that you would enable modern-day Jimmy travels. What is your response to that comment and to Jess Phillips in particular around safety of women and girls?
Well, Jimmy Savile, of course, famously was never online, ever. Never owned a computer, never went on the web. So that's an inappropriate comparison. It's also just sinking to the gutter of politics to make that comparison. I repeat the point. We would love to see legislation, effective legislation, that protected young children from harmful and dangerous material. This Act does not do that, and this Act then extends right into the area of free speech. And when you think it's only the 25th of July when it actually came into being, the effects, I would suggest, are chilling already. And I would say to Jess Phillips, why don't we have a proper debate? Why don't we debate the Online Safety Act publicly? Why don't we debate whether this does actually protect minors, whether it does protect children? We'd be very, very happy to engage in that. We'd very happily work with them on trying to find tech solutions that work. But I'm not going to sink to their level of abuse. I'm just not. Shihab Khan from ITV.
Shihab Khan from ITV News. The government has released a range of new measures, both over the weekend and today, that they say is intended to try and stop these crossings from punishing those posting on social media, advertising channel crossings, and reforming the asylum system and the appeals process. I suspect you'll be very critical of that, but what would you do instead if you were empowered to get the backlog down and to stop those crossings from happening?
Well, the big story is they're going to spend £100 million on this. Wow. We've given the French £800 million already. And every calm day we see the French Navy escorting vessels literally from the beaches of Gravelines or wherever it may be to the Midway line. And yes, you can employ more officers and you can do whatever you want and you can put more border force boats in the channel and more drones and spotter planes in the sky. And you can speed up the asylum process. Easy. Just wave everybody through. In fact, from Sudan, Eritrea, countries like that, that's pretty much what we do already. None of this stops people coming. Why do people come? They come because they know they have an over 99% chance of staying. They come because they know they will be looked after, 3 square meals a day, free dental care, free health care, 49 quid a week pocket money, and while they're at it, probably work illegally, either in delivery services or drugs or whatever it may be. There is only one way you're going to stop this. There's only one way you're going to stop this. Australia went through these agonies back in the earlier part of this century, where they argued at election after election what to do. They tried offshore processing and many other things, and still the boats came. In the end, they towed the boats back to Indonesia. We will make it absolutely clear, as Colin has said already, that the ECHR, whatever its good intentions in the post-war world were, is no longer fit for purpose in any way at all, and we will be free to detain those. And by the way, all around the world, if you enter a country illegally, you will be detained and deported. This is what normal countries do all over the world. We've surrendered normality to this new human rights regime. So if you come to Britain via that route, you will never be given refugee status. You will never be given permanent leave to remain. You will not be free to walk the streets, as so many have done that have committed some of these vile crimes, and you will be deported. And that's the message, plain and simple. And you know what? Within 2 weeks, you won't see a single migrant boat. They won't come. OK, we have got Sky News. Mari.
Mari Aurora, Sky News, thank you. First of all, on the prisons subject, what is your plan to tackle the mental health difficulties in the prisons? You cannot separate mental health treatment and a lack thereof, perhaps, in prisons with the criminal justice system and the prison population. So what are your plans to actually deal with some of the mental health crises that are happening in prisons? And if I may, is this Project Fear? Are you trying to make people afraid and trying to steer them into fear, and therefore that is the way you will get them to vote for you?
No, they are afraid. They are afraid. I dare you to walk through the West End of London after 9 o'clock of an evening wearing jewellery. You wouldn't do it. You know that I'm right. You wouldn't do it. And that's just in London, let alone what's happening in so many other parts of the country. And the genuine fears that mothers have, particularly for teenage kids, when we know already that an Afghan male has a 22 times more likely chance of being convicted of rape than somebody born in this country. The fact that 40% of sexual assaults in London over the course of the last 5 years have been committed by those born overseas. You know, we have to recognise something. There are some people who come from certain cultures that pose a danger to our society. It's as simple as that. As for our prisons policy, well, I mean, goodness gracious me, why don't you give us a chance? We're just setting up the task force to work these things out, unless you'd like to comment on that mental health problem.
Look, it is a fact there are a lot of people within our prisons who do have mental health issues. Thankfully, with the introduction of in-reach and outreach, things have got better. They're not right at the moment. There are issues with people being able to protect themselves and being put in prison, but what else do you do with them? And that is something that hopefully our task force will work through. But yes, I absolutely agree that there are a lot of people in prison with serious mental health issues because they've been put there because there's nowhere else, or people don't know what to do with them.
Thank you very much. Anya Pott from Channel 4 News.
You say migrants in hotels should be deported. Where should they be deported to if their country isn't safe or if another country won't accept them?
I'm sorry, I've had enough of this. If you come from Afghanistan, you go back to Afghanistan. End of. This idea we can't send people to certain countries, all the false claims that people make about their own personal lives. I'm sorry, we're done. We're done. We've had enough.